Hi everybody, Peter King with the MMQB here, and this is One-on-One with Peter King, presented by the new Windows. We've got a guest this week who can talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame process with me, and about finally, after all these many centuries, a punter has gotten into the Hall of Fame, Ray Guy. And I wanted to have Chris Kluwe, the former punter for both the Vikings and the Raiders, and a staunch advocate of Ray Guy for getting in the Hall of Fame. Wanted to talk to him about that and other things. Chris, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell me your feeling when you saw that Ray Guy finally got in, something that you had campaigned long and loud for.
Well, I was happy to see that he got in because, I obviously felt that he was deserving of getting in, and hopefully that opens the door for other guys to get in, guys like Reggie Roby, guys like Steve Tasker, guys like Morton Anderson, players who changed the game at their position, who people may not necessarily realize or understand they belong in the Hall of Fame because they think the Hall of Fame is just offense and defense. They don't understand that special teams is also an integral part of the game.
What was your biggest reason for Guy over so many other good punters in the first 90 years of this game?
I think for me personally, it was because the fact that you can talk to just about anyone who watched football through, the 80s and 90s and even 2000s and up through 2013, and they know who Ray Guy is. They know his name. They know he was a punter for the Oakland Raiders who changed games for the Oakland Raiders. They know that his name is famous. And I mean, shoot, there's a college award named after him. To get that, you kind of have to have done something right along the way. So I think for me, it's about recognizing the fact that here is a guy who changed the game at his position. He changed how the position was perceived, and to not have him in the Hall of Fame, despite having so many years to do so, well, that's something that needs to be corrected.
Let's change topics. Two other things to get to with Chris Kluwe today as we kind of wrap up the NFL season. Chris, tell me in your mind where you stand now as far as your career. Do you think that you will punt again in the NFL? And do you think to this day that part of the reason you got cut is because of your outspoken views?
To answer the first part, I don't think I will ever punt again in the NFL. I think it's very much a case that teams saw what happened with the Vikings, how I was let go, even though my numbers were still the same. And even if they don't say anything, that still says something to them. It's like, hey, wait a minute, why did this guy get let go if his productivity hadn't changed? And they factor that into their decision making. And I'm not going to say I'm the best punter in the NFL because I don't think I was the best punter in the NFL. I think I was a very good punter in the NFL. Generally, I was in the top half to top third of punters, which is relatively tough to do. But the thing is when teams look at it, they'll say, hey, do we want this guy who, yeah, he's consistent, he's good, but he's also going to talk about things maybe we don't want him to talk about, or do we want a younger guy or even a veteran guy who may not be quite as good, but we know won't say anything, won't bring any media attention on teams. And as you know from being around NFL coaches hate people talking about their team. Every single one of them wants to be the underdog. No one sees us coming, no one talks about us. And that way, they think it helps them focus more on game planning and on games.
Chris, where do you stand right now with your the statements you made against Minnesota special teams coach Mike Priefer, which the club said it was going to investigate? It's sort of been quiet about that for the last 5 weeks. Where does that stand now, and has there been any closure to that story?
Nothing yet, just waiting for the investigation to finish up. I think they had to go interview quite a few more people, and I cooperated fully, told them everything they asked about, and to me this is something that I don't think Mike Priefer, as he is now, should be coaching because I don't think he's a good role model. But I think if he's willing to legitimately change and to understand why the things he said were harmful, then I think he can be a good role model and he can be a good coach. But it will take time for him to do that. And I think it's something that the NFL needs to understand, that there are gay players in the NFL. Just because they're not out doesn't mean there aren't gay players there. And when you have this mindset that somehow a gay player can't be as good as a heterosexual player, well, as a coach, you're actually hurting your team because you're not getting the most out of your players that you can. You're not getting 100% out of those guys because by definition, a gay player has to hide who he is. So he's not thinking 100% about football. He's thinking about, okay, yeah, I can make this play, but oh shoot, what if someone finds out my secret? What if someone finds out who I am? Is it going to be okay? Is that going to affect my employment? And so as a coach, you should be committed to getting 100% out of your players. And that means fostering an atmosphere of tolerance and respect for everyone, no matter what their sexuality is, no matter what their religion is, no matter what their race is. You have to treat people equally.
Smart words, Chris. Really appreciate you being on the podcast this week and appreciate you being on One-on-One with Peter King. That's the end of our One-on-One with Microsoft segments for the year. Been great to be on with you. Our thanks to Chris Kluwe. Our thanks to all our guests this year. For the MMQB, I'm Peter King.